Coach, I'll open up with a statement and we'll jump into questions.
Good morning. Obviously a big week in front of us, like they all are. Got to move on past, a disappointing end to the game on Saturday. We've been probably up until maybe when we took that lead, kind of had a positive stretch and some good momentum, but like this league can do, it humbles you down the stretch, and obviously some things came unglued for us, and some things we need to learn from and continue to get better. So looking forward to playing, obviously, a very good Liberty team on Wednesday, and then starting on the road for a few games.
Right, this Liberty team has seemed to be immune to the road struggles that a lot of conference teams have. I mean, you look at the numbers that they put up and what they've been doing. What is it about them that has allowed them to separate a little bit?
Numbers-wise, they're very efficient. Shooting percentage, offensive efficiency, all that. I would say that's probably just a product of how close together, strong that they are. It doesn't really seem like anything phases them. Losing for most of the game at Dayton right before Christmas, they just stick with it, come back and win. Hit a rough stretch in November like all of us do, but man, have bounced back and been very consistent since. So it seems like their down stretches aren't quite as dramatic as the rest of us. They're able to survive the swings of a game and the ups and downs, and whether that's I'm sure that's a combination of their culture and having returners and great coaching and everything else that goes into it. So obviously they've I can think back to when it's the Matheny, Porter, and Cleveland have been in the league the entire time that we've been here, and I know they were up and down that first year and went 7-9, but then, man, they bounced back last year, finished strong, obviously make the tournament, and they're off to a great start. So they've grown together, and they've built a bond and a togetherness that is very difficult and shows on the court, and you always know you're in for a real test when you play Liberty.
You go from taking on one of the top team rebounding teams in Conference to taking on one of the top individual rebounders in Cleveland. Do you have the same game plan for that, or is it kind of shortening being one guy?
Man, I don't know. He's a unique player. He's a point forward, point center, point guard. Rebounds the ball, obviously high assist guy. He'll rebound and push it. He'll be the one, but then all of a sudden he'll be down there offensive rebounding. Obviously, he's kind of the glue on defensive rebounding for them. They are a little small, so he does a lot of the bulk. He's a unique player, so he poses problems. Do you put your big man on him? Do you put a forward on him? Do you put a guard on him? And whatever option you take, there's certain ways he can take advantage of that. So, he's probably the leader for Player of the Year in the league right now, I would guess, and well-deservedly. And we're probably have to come up with a couple different of those strategies to kind of see what we can do to take him off his game.
Throughout multiple games this season, you guys have changed up your defensive looks a lot, obviously with the zone and pressure, all different phases of the game. With the Liberty team that's as efficient as they are, how key is it going to be flexible defensively to adapt and change?
Yeah, I think we have to have everything ready. Does that rattle or make them hesitant? I don't know if it will or not. Teams that shoot the ball that good, sometimes you're a little nervous giving them space. Teams that pass the ball that well, sometimes you're nervous about extending full court and pressing because they'll be aggressive and get open shots on the back end. So I would think they have a solution to almost anything, and obviously they've built that over time and with experience with one another. So, I think, I thought our physicality, we showed a little bit with Kennesaw. Teams that have been successful at Liberty do take advantage of their size and athleticism and strength. That's obviously, they're small in the backcourt, but I wouldn't say they're not tough. They're tough as can be. They have a competitiveness and an eagerness to win and an intelligence about them that is very tricky and very unique. So, we got to figure out where we think we can have an advantage and put ourselves, on both ends of the floor, but on defense in an area where hopefully that can help us win the game.
You got Cleveland, who's so good at hitting shots, quality shots, but able to kick it out to one of the best three-point shooters in the country, too, in Decker. How do you defend that?
I think that's the question we're all trying to get the answer to. To be very, I guess, blunt, I think Cleveland is a very good defensive team. I think they're going to simple with the answer. If you the deeper you get Cleveland get in the paint and the longer the gap is between him and Decker and Porter and Matheny, the harder it is to provide help or double team. I mean, if you can keep Cleveland away from the basket, or if you can keep that's basketball in general. If you can keep the ball away from the basket, the lines where you have to help get a lot shorter. We struggled in the Kennesaw game keeping them away from the basket. They got some very deep paint touches and scored, and some very deep paint touches and kickouts. And when you get the ball to the restricted area, it becomes a 19, 20-foot gap where you have to choose. Do you double? Do you help? And if you do, it's a long recovery to the shooter. So I guess there's the very simplest way is you try to prevent the ball from getting that deep in the paint. I think that's why coaches always talk about paint touches in general. In offense, you want to get the ball deep into the paint because it puts the defense in a very tough situation. But, man, when guys can shoot and he's 6'7", 6'8", and can pass, it is a kind of a pick your poison. So do you change up what you do? Do you try to figure out what works? Do you try to force a certain direction or take away one specific guy on the floor, one specific player personnel? There's different options, and obviously they're, what are they, 14-3, 15-3. I don't know that anybody's been very successful finding that yet, but we'll have to continue. We got about 2 days to figure that out, and we'll try to have a couple different options ready, and as the game goes, see what works for us. Yeah, we need to be a lot more patient. I thought the second half, UTEP and Missouri State, we had really moved in the right direction, being patient. And if we get a fast break bucket, if we're there, get an offensive rebound, put back if it's there. But if it's not, move the ball, make 3, 4, 5 passes, move the defense, make a cut. And we just got a little stagnant in the Kennesaw game. And I think that 10 for 35 from 2 really shows. Not a lot of cuts to the basket, not strong finishes at the rim, a little too much one-on-one. They did a good job switching and being in the gaps, but we need to be more patient. If they score, we can't just come down and put our heads down and attack the paint. We have got to be disciplined and move the ball and move as players and break the defense down a little bit before trying to get the ball into the paint to get a shot. So just I think score quick if it's there, but if not, we need to be patient and disciplined and to be much more efficient on that side of the ball.
Coach, obviously, as a coach, if you go in the perfect world, win every game by 15, 20 points, but in a year like this where you kind of have an up and down spells, do you enjoy that part of coaching where you can kind of go in and get back to the drawing board and kind of grow as a team?
I wouldn't use the word enjoy. I would enjoy more if the first part, if we won every game by 15 or 20. But it is what this is about. I mean, this is a long journey, and it really does feel like with a brand new group. We don't know exactly how guys will react in situations. And again, I wish we did after 18 games, but we had some things the other night that we haven't quite seen. And there's constant moving parts. So I think as a coach, you have an understanding and appreciation for this is what it usually is, and no doubt you really have an appreciation for when things go smoother than this, which it is for one team in our league right now, and the other 11 of us seem to be in a similar boat. But I mean, it is what's necessary to help teams grow. It is what's necessary to help individuals grow, both players and coaches. It is what's necessary to help the group as a whole get stronger. You're going to run into adverse situations and conflict and those type of things. And again, like I said, Liberty has too, but they just figure it out within the game. And that's what elite teams do. We're having to learn, the lesson the hard way from time to time. And there's some things when you watch that film on Saturday, I mean, for about 30 minutes, I mean, I wouldn't say we played our best basketball, but when you watch the film and you're, man, we're right there. I mean, and we're tied with UTEP, 6 minutes to go, close the game. Down 1 La Tech, 1 minute to go, close the game. Down at Sam Houston halftime, close the game. We've had some times recently where we've had very similar games and we've performed in the last 5 to 10 minutes of the game. And that's the first time in a while that I would say we haven't. So when you look at that film, just understanding that you're not just, we're probably not 15 points better than Missouri State, and we're probably not 16 points worse than Kennesaw State. Both of those games, man, right around that 10 to 15-minute mark in the second half could go either direction. They come down to a play and a shot, and you got to control what you can control and learn from that and have an appreciation that that it's not going to be easy. Because if there's anything I've learned, this is not going to be easy. When all of a sudden you go into a league and almost every team is a brand new team. There's going to be ebbs and flows, and again, it's our job to try to make that by the end of the year where there's really not. But it is, you have to face the music. You have to watch the film. You have to go to the drawing board. You have to be honest with yourself, both as coaches and players, about what we're doing well and what we need to improve. And then you have to convey that message, show it on film. This is what we're doing wrong. This is what we need to do better. This is why we need to do it better. If we are to do this better, this is the result that can happen. And obviously you try to convey that message and get there to be an understanding and buy-in that we can accomplish that together. So, yeah, this next stretch is clearly going to be challenging, and you can either look at that as a bad thing or a good thing, you know. And I would just say that if anybody came here for this to be easy, then yeah, you'd probably look at this as a bad thing. But man, I think the best growth, the best progress that you can make is when you have a tough challenge in front of you and you overcome it and you bind together to do it. You know, when we lost to South Florida earlier this year, that was pretty crushing. Bounced back the next day and beat a very good Wichita State team. So we've showed that we can bounce back as the season gets on. You know, maybe it gets in your head, man, we got to do this again. Yeah, you got to do it again. Like yeah, you got to do it again. Like that's what this is. Like and this is probably not the last time we're gonna have to bounce back. So just trying to continue to strengthen and continue to grow and continue to trust in the process to improve as a team.
I thought Kennesaw State was one of those games where it really looked like you could have used Bryant out there just for his physicality and toughness. I mean, it's a loss, you know. I don't know that you can replace him, but are you having to kind of steer guys into filling that role, or are you getting some pushback on that? Or? I
don't know. I mean, Bryant was an important part of our team, still is an important part of our team, brings great energy every single day. He's a very good player, can score and rebound. Obviously, we've been without him for over a month now, and he's not going to return, so I don't know. To me, we are who we are, and Bryant brings a lot of positive energy and helps, and trust me, I mean, he's engaged every single day, and he helps us move forward. I think you always, you know, with anybody that's not currently part of the playing rotation or team, yeah, if you had some of this, could they be better? Sure, but you know, it's obviously a loss that hurt us. It's a loss that we've tried to bounce back and move forward from. You know, we have enough players on this team to have a very, very successful year. Obviously, we wish that Bryant was part of it. At the same time, probably as coaches and players and as a team, it's a hard thing to think about because it's, you know, not a reality at this point. So yeah, I mean, his scoring and rebounding is something that always helps. I wish we had him. At the same time, I think in our, you know, we've been going 4 or 5 weeks, and we have to continue to build with the current group that we have, and we'll do our best to do that. I don't know. It tends to help a little bit, it seems like, if you look at it and you think about that. I'm happy that I think the students are back this week, so hoping that we have a good student crowd, hoping that we have, I mean, obviously there's an undefeated team in Liberty coming in. I think it'll be an exciting game, so I think you'd always rather have a big crowd pulling for you than a big crowd rooting against you. So at the same time, last year we went over there and they won here, so yeah, it's hard to predict these things, but no doubt, we'd much rather play the game in Diddle Arena, and hopefully WKU and Bowling Green comes out Wednesday night and helps us get a win.
Not looking too far down the road, but Saturday you take on St. Lucie. It's the first time you're going to play a conference team for the second time. Is that, when you play a team for the second time in the season, does strategy kind of change from the first time around? You use a lot from that first game. What is that like?
Yeah, I would think the strategy matters. I mean, both teams, that game specifically, we both scored a lot of points. So I would think we'll both kind of remember what happened, and we'll both probably try to figure out how to limit the other team's offense a little bit. So, yeah, I think you do base a lot of what you do on the previous game. There is familiarity. At the same time, you know, you got to stay in the moment, and you got to, you know, make sure they'll make adjustments for us. We'll make adjustments for them. They've been on a roll since, so they're playing with a lot of confidence, and that'll be a good test for us. But, yeah, I would think you do use the first game certainly as a benchmark and as a way to figure out what worked and what didn't work. I mean, I want to figure out how they scored 91 points on us, and we have to try to limit that. So, but they've been doing a very good job. They've had a great run kind of since we played them, and I'm sure they'll be playing with a lot of confidence, and that'll be a heck of a tough test for us on Saturday.
Just a couple of quick updates too. Blaze went out briefly with, well, not briefly, for a few minutes with what looked like to be a knee injury, but actually came back, so.
Sounds like a little knee sprain, something for Blaze. He's going to sit practice today, but is planning on going tomorrow and should be good for Wednesday. So yeah, I don't think it's anything. I mean, it's a little bit of a knee sprain, but he's hungry and working and in there right now, and he should be good to go Wednesday. Louis had another injection on on his back, lower spine issues that doesn't seem to be progressing. I mean, he's not going full speed, not practicing. His treatment, bike, stuff like that, but his back's giving him some problems. So we'll keep working with that day to day.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.